Hello and welcome, my friends. I'm Dean. Thanks for stopping in because in this video, we're going to see some of the building highlights that were used to create this awesome steampunk mining vessel base build in No Man's Sky. So if you like the ship and you want to see how it was made, then I wouldn't go anywhere because this video is about to start. When I was first thinking about this build, I wanted to use one of these impact craters as part of the build. Have the ship above it so it looks like it's drilling into the planet. But man, that was quickly overshadowed when I found this base location. Never before have I found a base or an area that has that's right, 5 resource nodes. I've got oxygen, copper, nitrogen, paraffinium, cobalt, and electric. And they're all within 600 U of this save marker right here. Also, to the right, 625 U, I've got a spaceport. So this is the perfect place to build our ship. Now I'm ready to put the base computer down, but I'm a little bit worried. Because I don't know how high above the base computer we can actually build, I think I need to get it up in the air quite a bit. Now I'm sure there's probably an easier way than what I did here, but I just used the terrain manipulator, waited for a superheated storm so I could jetpack farther, and built this little pillar here. Now all we have to do is get the base computer up on top. Good luck with that. I had to do a little jetpacking and terrain manipulating. I can't tell you how stressful that was, because at any time you could fall, like, to your death and die. But the base computer is down and we're about 50 U above the ground. So hopefully we have enough height to build our ship, the deck, the balloons, everything that I want to do. I'm using this vantage point to try to get a sense of how high in the air we are and picture what the ship might look like out there in that area. After putting some walls down, we're actually 38 walls up in the air. I do believe this is going to be the perfect height for our deck. I need to find the center so that I can start building a quarter sphere. Now this is a highlights video, not so much a tips and tricks video. The guys I watch to learn how to build like this or to do these tips and tricks are Scottish Rod and Beeble Bum. If you want to know more in depth what I'm doing here, then yeah, go check those guys out. They'll teach you well. Okay, I chose to go with the 64-sided circle. That'll put me 9 floors across, which I think will be plenty big or wide for our deck. I'll add a few markers on so that way I can take everything else away. Up until this point here, I've been struggling a little bit. If you've watched any of those how to build a sphere videos, you'll know that there's supposed to be a wire to attach to out here in the center so we can build the up and down part of the circle. Well, whether I'm doing it wrong or you no longer can do it, I can't get a wire to stay out there. So it's taken me a little bit, but I figured out how to do it. I'm going to put a floor in the wire cache, and then I'm going to snap it to the light box. Now when I do that, it's off by a half a floor, but if I put a quarter floor on the top, then I can move the floor forward and then I can snap one in the correct spot. Now all I have to do is put my 4 floors out into the center. Once I get in the center, then I can go ahead and build and set up for my next 64-sided circle. I have an idea to build a band across the back of the ship, so because of that, we're going to go a few floors above the deck. Once I get the markers in, I'm going to delete a couple of the floors, check to make sure everything is okay and nothing's in the wrong spot, delete the rest of the floors, and make the next curve. Okay, now if you've ever watched one of the videos on how to make a sphere, you'll know that you can glitch wires in to snap these floors onto them. But I've decided to do it the manual way. So we're going to store in our wire cache a floor, and then we'll go ahead and snap them on with the appropriate buttons. Now, a couple things that I learned here. One is I started from the sides and was working into the middle. Yeah, I learned really quick that that's not the way to do it. Start from the middle and work out to the sides. The next thing that I discovered was I can't quite put one on every one of the uprights. When I did on this row, they overlapped pretty bad, and I didn't really like that. So I decided to go every other one. Because I did wire glitch these floors onto the uprights, I do have a gap in between the floors at the top. But I think that we can take one of the small triangle floors and wire glitch it on in place. Took me a couple of tries and a few adjustments, but it ended up working out perfect. Here's a shot working on the front of the ship, and may I say, I'm actually getting quite fast at this. I'd like to build a railing around the front of the ship and do it out of 3 quarter floors, but unfortunately you can't wire glitch a quarter floor in the correct spot. So we're going to wire glitch on a full floor, set up a marker, and then we can place the 3 quarter floors in where we would like them. And we'll have to do this for every floor all the way around the front. The front of our ship is a little bit boring. So the idea that I have is to do a reverse curve starting on the front side of the ship and curve it into this walkway. And we'll do it on both sides. Now this really shouldn't be too hard to do if we can get our 64-sided jig in the right location. Since we're going to be starting our curve out here someplace in the front side of the ship, and it's going to curve in towards this walkway, we have to take into account that we're going to be actually a little closer to the build than 4 floors away. But I also have to take into consideration the thicknesses of the walls or the floors. So we're actually probably going to be about 3/4 of a floor closer. So to set up for this offset, first I'll green state a full floor and adjacent glitch it to a 1/4 floor. Then offset the center floor, add in a garage door and a snap point for a wire in the center of the floor. Then green state a small wall, reverse wire glitch it to the center snap point of the floor. Now I can store the 1/4 floor in the wire cache and wire glitch it onto the connection point, creating the perfect offset. Wow, that is so close, it's perfect. And to think, my high school guidance counselor said I was never going to amount to anything. I pause for a moment to enjoy these random frigates flying by. They're going to make this build look so good when it's complete, or they're going to crash into it. Okay, looking pretty good, and because of that I think I'd like to make a curve from the bottom of the ship up to the top. Before we start, I will need to make a 3/4 floor offset, just like we did on the sides. for the front of the ship, I'd like to make a command center / observation area. I'm going to use these light panels to help me glitch in some of these triangle floors. Now the snap point of a light panel is on the bottom, so depending upon which way you turn it, your floor will either be out a little ways or in close. And you can see this one's out a little bit too far. I didn't have the panel spun the right direction. Now I'll go ahead and wire cache another light and then glitch it onto the previous light. By doing this, I can stack another light on top of it. Now I can store a triangle floor in the wire cache and snap it on. So to do this, just make sure you spin your light boxes, light panels in the correct way. I'm sure by now you've noticed I've got gaps between all of the floors. Well, to take care of this problem, I'm going to need to run some triangle floors in another jig just like we had, but do it in these corners. So I'm going to have to get this lined up right here dead center of the two walls together. Now the only way I know how to do this is to manually move the floor by hand. I did have to adjust it 3 or 4 times to get it in the right place, but finally I did. Now I'll repeat the same process that I did down on the lower floor, but up here to run all of those triangle floors down on this plane. Now I can easily snap these short walls onto the sides of the triangle floors. Now, for what I have been waiting for. It's time to put in the first balloon. This is my first attempt putting the biodomes in. They do look really good, but they're a little bit too low. I'm going to need to redo it and get them up a little higher. I did have to move the landing pads out one more floor. We were hitting the building and we weren't able to land. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see the completed version, a walkthrough of that, then check out the links below and at the end of this video. Also, I've been trying to come up with a name for this ship. So if you have any ideas that are steampunkish, then put your suggestion in the comments. As a thank you for staying to the end of the video, we will be choosing a random viewer's suggestion. So you never know, you might be the one to name the ship. Thank you all very much. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, stay safe and peace.